Hi, this is your coach, Joe Lucas, and welcome to my latest Practice Power blog post. One of the things that is one of my cornerstones as a coach, and it has been for decades, is the principle of getting up in the morning in a certain way, a certain syntax, in essence, a certain ritual, so that every advisor, you, can have the best opportunity to have a productive day. Uh, my experiences are that when I have an advisor, when I have a client, and one of the first things we're going to do is, in addition to doing their business plan, we're going to go ahead and take a look at how their typical business day goes, or a typical tactical day. And to me, there are really two chunks, or two elements of a day. There's the pre-day or the morning ritual, and then there's the daily game plan, so when you're really engaged in the business. Where this process or concept comes from is a couple different places. I mean, you can Google search morning success rituals, and I think you'll find one of my YouTube videos there from years ago. But you'll also see you'll see a lot of other writings. If you look at just some of the blogs and things like that, pretty much across the board, every successful human being, every entrepreneur, every CEO has a process, a protocol that they use before they start their, in essence, business day. Now, in athletics, and this is where I really got the concept from, when you study world-class athletes, and it really doesn't matter what sport it is, whether it's a team sport, an individual sport, it really doesn't matter. You will find that the best don't just show up and make things happen. What the best do is they have a syntax before the event, before their tennis match, before their round of golf, before their baseball game, their football game, their basketball game, whatever it is, right? There's this pre-game ritual that they all have, and if you studied any interviews of any of them, you would know this. And why do they do that? It's not just to physically warm up the body, it's to mentally get them ready to compete at the highest levels, to make sure they're present in the moment, to make sure they get done what they need to get done. That's what's really most important. So how does that translate into our world, being a financial advisor, an RIA, an insurance professional? Well, I view each day as a game, and you either win the game or you lose the game. There are no ties. Either you had a successful day or an unsuccessful day. And I know this for a fact. When you have a great morning ritual, the odds of you having a great, successful day rise dramatically. When you kind of get up, roll out of bed, and kind of roll onto the TV and roll onto this and roll onto that, I can guarantee you pretty much 8 out of 10 times you're going to be in reaction mode. Now, why is a morning ritual important? I'm going to give you some elements in a moment in terms of kind of some ideas on how to get up, and I'm going to give you a very specific syntax on how to go about this. This is actually an element of an e-learning that is available on practicepower.net. I think it's 3 or 4 segments on really how to construct your own morning ritual. But what I want to do in this blog post is to give you my latest thinking on it. Obviously, as a coach, every time I talk to somebody, every interaction I have with another advisor is one more piece of experience, right? One more element of distinction. And what I want to do here is share some with you right now. So let's kind of go over some of the syntaxes, if you will. So the first thing is, hey, what time to wake up? Which I know sounds primarily very simple, but I'll say this. A lot of you struggle with your sleep. You're up too late, you eat the wrong foods, you're restless, and you just can't get up. So here's the thing I want you to realize, and this has been a relatively new distinction for me. Being a financial advisor is not having a job. And if you think you have a job, you're woefully mistaken. You really, really are. If you think you have a business, partially true. Being a financial advisor is a choice of lifestyle. It's like being a priest, rabbi, minister, doctor. It's almost like a calling. And you have to give it its respect 24/7. Just like, for example, if you're going to be a professional athlete, right? You're not going to abuse your body. You're not going to stay up late. You're not going to eat at McDonald's. You're not going to, drink, 2 6 packs a night and then wonder why you can't get up the next morning ready to rock and roll. Well, being an advisor has exactly the same types of elements. You have to get up early enough to get the ritual done. So here's what I tell all my clients. When I sit down with somebody new for the first time, I'll say, look, take me through your typical day, and I want to start in the morning. And I'll say, well, tell me about your morning. Tell me what your current morning ritual is. And they say, well, I get up. And I'll say, well, stop. What time do you get up? Right? And then how do you feel? Because if you're not getting up early enough, not feeling ready to rock and roll, guess what? We're going to struggle. Because remember, the easy thing to do is hit the snooze button. The easy thing to do is suggest, well, I'll get up early tomorrow, right? And that doesn't work. Okay. So I want you to pick a time that you need. Now, one of the things you're going to ask me is, hey, how much time what's this ritual really going to take? And I'll say that there's going to be a wild card in here called exercise, right? So if you exercise, I don't know, you tell me how much time you need to exercise, right? Maybe 45 minutes to an hour. I can show you this morning ritual. I can knock out in 20 minutes. 20 minutes if I don't work out, okay? So first thing, what time to wake up? Now, if you're getting up early enough, then that's great, and we don't need to make any changes. If you know, and look, I'm not going to say, I don't have a magic time. I'm not going to tell you it's 5:30 or 6 or 6:30 or 6:15 or 5:45. Everybody's a little different for their situation. You need to know that, okay? But here's what I will say. If you're not getting up early enough and you want to get up 15 or 30 minutes earlier, do yourself a favor. Don't sit there and say, I'm a tough person. I'll just set my alarm 30 minutes earlier and I'll just make it happen. That will last for about 3 days, and then your brain will literally explode on you because it's too much change. I went from being a night owl to somebody who right now, if they're lucky to make it past 10 o'clock. I'm also getting up at 5:45, 5:30 every morning, right? And I do that without an alarm clock. My secret, and I've studied change on behavioral patterns, sleep patterns, is gradual incremental change over a long period of time. What I did, quite frankly, was I set my clock back 1 minute every day for literally, 45 days until I got that window that I needed to have. So just keep that in mind. So whatever time you need to get up, make that happen for yourself, but don't make massive change. Look, don't gut it out. There's no reason for that. What we're after in my coaching philosophy is lifetime change, not this short, quick fix thing. Okay, keep that in mind. So what time you wake up, element, very important. Next thing, we're gonna do something called morning power questions. Now, what's a morning power question? A morning power question is really the best way to describe it is it's your first conscious thoughts of that day. So when you finally get out of your haze, right, we wake up, is you run through a series of questions. And at first you may need to write these down. Once you groove them, everything's cool. So what are these questions? Well, for some examples. Hey, what has to happen in order for me to have a great day today? Right? That's one. That's one I use, by the way. Next question. What am I grateful for in my life right now? Gratitude. Very, very important, right? What has to happen in order for me to be healthy, successful today? Question, right? And what you're doing with these questions, you can have 3 or 4 or 5. Look, you can have, I don't care, you can have as many as you want. Just remember time here. Why we do this? Because if you don't control your dialogue in the morning, you're probably not going to control your dialogue throughout the day. And what this is there to do is, to, in essence, program yourself to get better. Now, if some of you have done our business planning process, right, and we talk about limiting beliefs, disempowering beliefs, right? So, this is where we're going to go do some work. So what's one of the questions we can ask to change a disempowering belief? Here's an example. Let's say you have a belief that I'm not good at getting referrals, or I'm not comfortable at getting referrals or asking for referrals. Well, in the morning, you say, look, what has to happen today in order for me to be more comfortable in talking about introductions to my clients, right? And you write that out and you rehearse it in your mind. Those are morning power questions. Now, if you think about it, how long is it going to take you to do this Q&A with yourself? 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes? I mean, I've timed it, and my morning power questions last maybe 90 seconds to 2 minutes, depending how many I've got going on at that time, right? So I got 2 minutes, not a big deal, right? Next element. We're going to do what we call your daily visualization. So what's a daily visualization? Visualizations come into two flavors, tactical and strategic. So tactical slash daily, right? Um, if you've done any studies on visualization, especially in athletics, every study supports the fact that when an athlete visualizes themselves being successful, whether that's hitting a certain golf shot, playing a certain tennis match, doing something in their particular sport, they improve their performance slash results. So we don't need to overthink this. We just say, you know what, if it works there, and this is my specialty, I look for things that work other places, and then I bring them into this industry. So to me, visualizations, great. So what can we visualize today? Well, you can visualize getting up right, being in a power position, getting on your headset, talking to your clients, asking for introductions, asking for new money, following up on prospects, doing your client reviews with passion and excellence and energy and connectivity, right? Being present in the moment, just being in total control of your day. Think about that visualization. Cool, right? How long is that going to take? So maybe a couple of minutes, maybe, right? And so, by the way, so we're doing that, and what you want to do is just visualize. So if you, let's say, for example, you're going to have you've got a prospect coming in this afternoon, right, for a first meeting, third meeting, whatever it is. I want you to mentally get there while you're still kind of in your morning, visualizing yourself having it go well. In other words, almost compel yourself to have the result happen for you. Okay, so those are your daily visualizations. Next, business and life plan review. So if you're a member of Practice Power, and if you're not, you need to become one. Today, we have our 8-module business and life plan, and either you can review it online, you can print it out. This year we put PDFs up there, so if you want to handwrite it out. I keep my plan personally. I have it. I use the same templates, by the way, in Practice Power. I take all that and I put it, PDF it, and I move it over into Evernote, and it sits on my iPad. So every morning, my iPad is always charging on my nightstand. Get up in the morning after I do my morning power questions, my visualizations, open up Evernote, and here is my business plan, which if you gave it a thorough read is probably 5 to 10 minutes long. Okay? And now some of you are going to say, do you have to review the whole plan every day? I'm going to say this. In my perfect world for you, the answer would be yes. However, I'm a realist, so I'll say this. At minimum, read one section every day, including weekends. I want you around. Here's the thing I don't get, and maybe you can answer this for me, to yourself. Why does an advisor spend hours upon hours upon hours of arduous thinking, research, strategizing to put a business plan together? And then by January 15th, they haven't got a clue of what they wrote down. Like, why go through that exercise? I mean, this is not a tax return. I mean, I understand that. If you want to bury your returns, I totally understand that. But this document, if you do our document, and again, look, if you're using your firm's document, I highly doubt it's going to be very motivational for you. It's probably a bunch of numbers and Excel files. But if you're doing our thing, it's going to make a total difference for you. And every day we're around it. So I'm going to say if you did a whole plan review, 5 or 10 minutes, you read it, you reassociate to it, you know exactly what you want to do on the micro and the macro level. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to get some mental diet. So what's mental diet? Obviously, we got some brain food, right, that we do, and we attach them here. Also in May, I'm going to start doing a morning tweet, and make sure you follow me on Twitter, Coach Joe Lucas. And what I'm going to do is push out some mental diet stuff for you every morning that you have. What I find is the mental diet is no different than the actual physical diet. So hear me out. You go to any nutritionist, and there's an old saying, right? You are what you eat. And talk to a nutrition, they'll tell you, and this is a universal, what's the most important meal of the day? And any nutritionist worth their salt is going to say breakfast, what you start your day with, what you fuel your body with, has a radical impact on the entire day. Well, what you consume mentally the first 30 to 60 minutes of the day has a radical impact on your state of mind, your psychology, your beliefs, your just general overall mood, right? In that first 30 to 60 minutes, and then it carries throughout the day. So if you get up in the morning and the first thing you do is grab the clicker, right, and you're going to put on CNBC or Bloomberg or Fox Biz, whatever you got going on, and you're starting your day with a daily digest of that, I want you to think of it this way. That would be the physical equivalent of getting up in the morning and eating 2 pounds of M&Ms, and you think you're going to be healthy. And you do that every day because that's basically what you're doing to your mind. You're putting junk in it every morning. So mental diet, as far as we're concerned, we like some motivational stuff. And look, there's a lot of different ways to consume this. First off is modalities, audio, right? Visual, right? Or the written word. I'm all three, depending on what it is, right? And also what I'm doing. If I'm getting up in the morning and going for a bike ride, obviously I'm not going to be reading anything or watching anything. But you know what? I'll go grab a couple of podcasts, and I have my iPhone all hooked up, a little speaker, and I'm listening to stuff as I'm cranking out on the road early in the morning. That's cool. In my office, I have an elliptical machine, which is I can watch. Got my iPad out, and I am a YouTube junkie. And you'll find. Look, if you follow any author, any consultant, any coach, anybody that kind of you resonate with, you associate with, you find it free. Now, what I like personally is combine the mental diet in the morning with some exercise. So I look to multitask, or as Tony Robbins says, you use net time, which is no extra time, right? And that's what I do. But find some ways. Again, maybe if you're not going to work out, maybe you read a book, maybe a chapter in the morning. Maybe 10 to 15 minutes, five on the if you got to be quick, but get some good stuff in your brain early in the day. Next, now we're gonna get up and we're gonna move a little bit. Now we're gonna talk about our strategic calendar. Now I'm gonna do an e-learning on strategic calendar in a little bit, probably next couple of weeks. But a strategic calendar basically is a year or multi-years at a glance where you plan your life, your strategic days, tactical days, vacations, breaks, things like that. If you're following our iAdvisor model, which I hope you are. If you're not, you need to go check that out on Practice Power. You know that our concept is we work 3 weeks every month. We bust it. We rock and roll 3 weeks every month. And then the fourth week we're off. Strategic time, right? And I'm recording this now, and I'm recording these here on Saturday, the 2nd of May, in beautiful sunny Florida, by the way. And I'm in the middle of basically almost a 2-week strategic window. I'm going out to Denver later on this upcoming week to do a 2-day training. I just took all last week, kind of rested, recovered a little bit. And you need to keep your mind and your body fresh to engage with people at high levels. And so what we want to do is make sure that in your morning, you're spending some time tweaking your calendar. Next, we're going to take a look at your monthly game plan. Now, monthly game plans, to me, we have a beautiful template on practicepower.net in the game plan center. One pager. I like simplicity. I like one pagers for monthly game plans, month at a glance. And that's where you're going to review it, tweak it, or create it, depending on where you are. By the way, it's May 2nd, so let's have the conversation. This will be a great opportunity to go ahead and create your May monthly game plan. If you're working with one of our coaches, make sure you share it so that they can review it with you. Okay, but we're going to do that. That's part of the morning ritual. Next, you're going to create a weekly game plan. Now, why do I have a weekly game plan? Some of my clients, to go from a monthly to a daily is too chunky. So what they do is either on a Saturday or Sunday, they'll look at the week and they'll come up with, hey, here's what I want to accomplish in the next 5 business days, right? And they'll work it out that way. It's the same template as the monthly game plan. We just alter the timeline. So if a 30-day window, it's a 6 or 5 or 7-day window. Then one of the other else we're going to do, we're going to create your daily game plan. So here's the question. what has to happen in order for me to be successful today. So this is going to be your touch base call list. This is going to be your follow-up list, who you're having meetings with, prep, that task list. Most of the time, the daily game plan can reside inside of your CRM. So if you're at a big firm, maybe you have SmartStation or Salesforce or Redtail or whatever you use, right? Some of my clients construct their daily game plan as a series of calls and tasks and to-dos and things like that inside of their CRM that we're keeping in one place. Others will actually go ahead and do it on paper. I don't really have a preference. What I care about is that it works for you. You talk to any of my clients and I'll tell you, I don't mandate things in terms of like where things are. If it works for you, I'm cool with it. But if you got is not working for you, guess what? I'm going to move you to my end and make sure that we implement something a little bit differently. All right. So you want to go ahead and create your daily game plan. And if you're wondering about daily game plan, there is a multi-module e-learning on Practice Power on what a daily game plan is, what the elements are. So please feel free to check that out. Next thing we're going to do, I'm a big fan of this, is we'll take a few minutes and journal. Maybe we'll journal on how yesterday went, kind of where our current thinking is, things like that. And it doesn't have to be anything elaborate. It doesn't have to be something you do every day. But I find memorializing your life and kind of where you're at, it's amazing. I started journaling when I was 17 years old, and I've moved it now online using Evernote. But I got my old journals. I unpacked a box not too long ago. I feel like a long lost box. And there were my goals from my 18th birthday in there. And let me just say this. I was one crazy person when I was 18 years old. I wrote some really wild stuff down. Stuff now that, remember, the value system of an 18-year-old, right, versus the value system of a 50-year-old is going to most likely be quite different in people. I got a real chuckle out of it, looking at some of the nutty things I wanted to accomplish and what I wanted to have back then, right? But think about the fact you have these, and what I think is really cool is it's a legacy you can leave to your kids. There may be some things you don't talk about because we're adults and parents and things like that. But, after you're gone, or maybe at some special day, you kind of let your family into your world a little bit, right? Open that secret door and let them really understand what you're all about. So journaling, I think, is going to be very, very important. And then you see the last thing here, exercise. So again, you notice I got a couple stars on it because some of my clients exercise, some don't. I tend to get an hour on the elliptical or a bike every day. I just find that for me, for what I do, dealing with anywhere from 16 to 20 coaching calls a day when I'm in tactical mode, and to be present for each one and to be there at a high level, I need to do that. Okay, not all my clients do. But I will say that every study I've seen, every research note that I've read, and people that I follow, the evidence is pretty overwhelming. Even a 5 or 10 minute kind of nice walk, just get the blood flowing, get those endorphins firing off, has a real positive impact on a typical day. Okay, this to me, the morning ritual, is where the battle is won and lost every day in terms of success or failure in our business, period. It is not the latest marketing idea or what the markets do. It's what happens when you get up in the morning and you have to make a choice, and you have a choice. How do you want this day to go? So let's do this real quick. It's kind of a recap. Let's add this up, okay? So morning power questions, let's say I'll give you 3 minutes. Visualizations, 3 minutes. So I got 6 minutes. Business and life plan review, let's say 10 minutes. So I'm 16 minutes. Mental diet, let's just call it 15 minutes. So I'm at 30 minutes. 35 minutes. 40 minutes. 45 minutes, maybe, right? So I'm going to say all in here, less than an hour. Less than an hour. And again, a lot of this stuff you can do multitask. Now, let me kind of give you a little insight on what I do. Okay, so I get up in the morning, 5:45 or so. I'm in bed. My morning questions, I'm laying in bed still. My visualizations, I'm in bed. My business and life plan review, I'm in bed, okay? Mental diet, I'm going to combine with my exercise, right? Journal, I'll probably do in bed before I wake up, so this syntax may go here for me. And then this will happen once I get done with my exercise and I'm kind of chilling out, and then I get on my computer real quick and I start figuring out what's going to happen for me and look at my schedule and things like that. And I tend to do all that on my iPad because that's where I can kind of keep things. And I'm ready to rock and roll. So an hour. Think of it this way. Here's the offer I'm going to make you. If you can find a way to do an hour in the morning, the odds of you accomplishing what you want to accomplish goes up radically. There's no secret sauce here. There's no silver bullet. There's no magic. All there is intent. Okay? So keep that in mind. And I know it's a little long today, and I apologize in advance, but look, this is so important. Uh, this is, when I work with somebody, one of the questions, and it's in my agenda builder, by the way, I send out, is tell me about your morning ritual. Because I know that if I got a client who's got a great morning ritual, we're going to have a great day, we're going to get things to happen. As soon as that morning ritual slips, I know we're in trouble. I can predict we're going to have a challenge down the road. That's how critical it is. So keep that in mind. Hey, have a great week. Don't forget, get your May monthly game plans done, and I'll see you next week.